it's Bella Rocks Media, and this time I've actually got something a little bit different for you. I know it's typically the rising bands, but this is a band that's already risen. I'm so honored to be joined by Juha from Swallow the Sun. Thank you again for joining me. Welcome to the show. And I'm going to do a wee bit of an intro just for how I came across Swallow the Sun. And it was probably around 2003, I think, because I'd started my journalism career then in the early 2000s. And I did get the Morning Never Came album. And I remember I hadn't really listened to a lot of the doom metal genre at the time. I had heard of Candlemass and things like that. But when I got your album, at the time it felt like really fresh and new and modern, with that uniqueness to it that had the emotions that I always am drawn to with music. It's emotion first above anything else. So that's when I got into you guys. Okay. And now, fast forward 25 years later, and here we are, 10th album. I'm going with 10th. I know there's an EP, but I call it an album technically because I still feel there's a lot of work goes into that as well. So it's counted.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Shining is basically officially our 9th album.
Officially, but technically we'll go with 10th maybe.
I think technically it's like 13th or something, because there was a triple.
Wow. Well, yeah.
Yeah, triple. There were all 3 albums, and then the EP Plague of Butterflies is like a long. It's long to be a full length and everything. So
yeah.
Lucky I guess it's 9th. I guess it's 9th.
Technically the 9th.
Yeah.
All right. And then you guys also won an Emma. And for those of you who don't know, an Emma is the Finnish Grammys. So there's been a lot of success over the years. But what I'd love to know is, was there ever a point at the beginning where you felt like giving up? Because I know when bands first start out, the first couple of years are the hardest. And that typically is when a lot of them do give up.
Yeah, well, I mean, in a way, I never felt like giving up. Even this. Can I curse on this show?
Yes, you can. Yep, I'm Irish. You can.
This fucking music industry is total bullshit. I mean, and it really tries to break you down, and for sure. So maybe many times you feel like, okay, fuck it. But then again, this hasn't been ever that kind of a feel of giving up, because I didn't expect anything from the whole thing. I just needed to get a few songs out from that I wrote 2000, and then I got them out. Everything else is plus. So and it's been quite big plus, I have to say. It's been taking 25 years to having that plus. So with, of course, because I'm from Finland, big minus also. But I mean, you understand, it's been so in that way, because everything has been unexpected and like extra. What my plan was, just to get few songs out, and there's never been like a plan that make this kind of a band and this kind of a music, and we're gonna take over the world, which is never gonna happen with this kind of a music. so yeah. It's this kind of a music. It's quite for people like you and me, and we are quite rare species in that way. That I don't know how to say, but you need certain kind of like a connection with lots of emotionally connected to the other things than guitar solos or double kick drums, or just wanted to go to the mosh pit, and so so respect to you also.
Thank you. Well, I know what you mean. It's like an emotional intelligence relation that I have with music, and it always starts with the music first rather than the lyrics for me. So it's how I feel when I hear something, and that's always how I've been with music. And was there ever like a defining moment in your career that you went, I know at the start, I mean, where you started to go, oh wait, no, this is starting to work? Because there are still quite a lot. You guys are pretty big, like.
Well,
here in Ireland, I swear you are huge here in Ireland, if anything.
No. It's because like I said, this kind of a music style, there's nothing big in here, and maybe we are kind of like top there on a few bands that actually can tour in the US and Europe and that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody can if you have enough money to lose.
Yeah.
So, so by in that way, but I don't know. It's kind of like when we did the demo from those 4 songs, if I remember right, yeah, 4 songs. And when I heard it, it was like that was already that moment, like whoa,
Yeah.
that there's actually something kind of like a special. Well, it wasn't just like another demo that you did. There was something in it and on it and in it and it catched the fire quite fast from there. Our drummer at that time, Pasi, just sent a few demos out, and then right away there was one label who offered, and of course we didn't start to sell it around that much because we were like, okay, well, fuck it, if somebody wants to pay to make the album, let's just do it.
Yeah.
So and in that way we ended up on a Finnish label that was mostly known from doom metal, and they actually put the doom label on us. So all the doom metal people who are saying that we are fake doom and whatever, I mean, we didn't even put that label on us, and I don't really give a shit what the true doom people think or that kind of thing. Everybody's poser in this world anyway, but at least you have to be honest poser. So that's what I was just saying here, that's how it is. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been, I think the first album already, it was a kind of like yeah.
You knew from there.
I got maybe the biggest thing is that even it's the first couple albums were a little bit more like maybe a little bit more traditional death doom. We still, I think, from the first album, from the first song, we got our own sound, which is quite rare in a way that you just don't try to sound like My Dying Bride or Paradise Lost or like this. So we got that kind of a Finnish touch on it. But it's mostly because I'm the songwriter and I love bands like Duran Duran and Aha and all this kind of Marillion, which is the biggest influence maybe with Rush to me. And so my influences come from there, not from death metal. So that's why I think that shaped the music also, that it stand out quite a lot.
Yeah, actually, and you can hear that as well because there's great melodies too. I just love everything about it. And the other thing that I was wanting to ask you is, like you mentioned a wee bit earlier there about the music industry itself and how tough it is. And actually, one of the things that I've seen now with new bands, even rising bands as well, ones that are starting to do well, is they still have to have full-time jobs or part-time jobs because it's tough. It is tough out there. And I was wondering if you had any advice for them so that they just kind of hang in there for now and keep going, because some of them are struggling with feeling like they should just give up.
I don't know. It is hard. But then again, if you want to do this thing to get famous or to be, those things, then you started with the wrong feet. So I don't know what to say on that thing. But especially now after the COVID, everything is like 3 times more expensive to tour and everything, and everybody's salaries, I mean, who works in the music industry and everything, they just gone fucking sky high, and everything. The buses cost so much, and gasoline and everything. So and then the fees necessary haven't gone up in the same way. So it's even harder these days. That's why there's lots of cancellation on tours being after the COVID and everything, and it's like it doesn't make any sense anymore, because it was hard to make sense even before COVID. But yeah, there's you can see that I'm from Finland, so I give all these very positive. Positive.
But no, it's reality check too, and that's important.
I mean, I don't know. I love this music, and and that is the price. That you do it. It's always a cliche, no matter if only one person listens to it, or 100,000 person or million. Then but hey, 100,000 and a million people are made from one person. They all so in that way, it's a victory already. Then if even one person likes it, if you do it from the heart.
Yeah. And that's like the main thing about music too. And like if you have to have a job and still be a musician, it's just the way it is nowadays too.
It
But
is, and it mostly is. I think it's 95% of all the musicians in the world. You just can't live with the music. It's such a hard, especially these days. So
yeah, so true. Well, look, we're going to play a song now, and we're going with Under the Moon and Sun.
Shine all your darkness on me, make me believe that it's all.
And I actually really love this one. It's the again, it's the emotions that I get with the song. And from me, before even listening to what it could be about or meant to be about, I just get hope and comfort from it. And that's what I always love. As well as obviously the catchy melodies and the keys. I love keys in any song at all. But can you tell me, just out of curiosity, what was the first song that kicked off the album Shining?
ooh, that's a hard question because um, when I write the music, it comes so fast that actually I don't have much of memory of the writing process, which I love. I love it and I hate it in that way. It would be nice because people ask a lot about this thing, and many people don't believe me when I say that I actually don't have much of memories of writing this music. But that's just how it's been for quite many years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't remember much about writing anything for Swallow. So yeah, I'm senile. I'm so old anyway, so I'm senile, and so maybe that's the thing. But like even with The Shining, I don't know, just suddenly the music was there, and it came so fast that I can't even say where did it start. Only thing was like and I never started writing music, which is a cliche too, but I think that's one of the reasons. I'm pretty cocky guy of our music, but I think that our music is absolutely perfect because it's come from the heart, and it's come from that moment that I never write music. I'm not the person who takes guitar and writes every day and try to come up with riffs and music. I just I let it rest, and then suddenly there's this huge wave, and you really feel like a very cliched man, but like an antenna, and then it pours out and it's there, and I have not much memory of it, so it's very hard to talk about the actual creating process.
Mm.
But
Well, no, I find that absolutely fascinating because, like, my partner, he's been writing songs for over 20 years, and my son has started as
okay,
well. And
no,
I actually asked them this question, and my partner said that when he first started, when he was writing, he would be trying to write it, trying to bring a song in, but then he learned over time to wait and let it come, and it just
mm,
comes now. And then when I asked my son, interestingly, he said that he just waits for the melodies or anything to just pop into his head, and then he'll start to go, oh, what's this? And so that's fascinating to me that you're saying that, because they have said the same thing. So I think that's really awesome, actually.
okay, that's nice to hear, and it's also like with me, I mean, it's 24/7. The music is in my head and things, and it's quite tiring also in many ways. I really feel like especially at the nights that I'm gonna go crazy. I'm a real night owl, so I'm
Yeah.
usually awake until 4 o'clock or something like that. But it might be also the thing that it's just fucking chaos in my head. The music is, and I live here in a middle of the forest. So when I go out, it's another cliche. I go out and the music just pours from the nature,
Mm-hmm.
and many times I have to rush back. I have quite many horses here and everything. I'm kind of like taking care of these animals, and I'm going to do something with the, feeding moving the horses or something, and I have to run back because I got this small melody, and I have to rush, and I'm keeping it on my mind until I get back in, and I take acoustic guitar and just put it on a phone.
Mm.
So my phone is full of those things. So, but I never kind of like stop.
Mm.
I come in and I start to write that thing. I just capture it and then I go on my business. So
Mm.
then when that moment come, it's this kind of a thing also that those pieces. It's like a puzzle. Suddenly they start to come together, and even in later I realized that that was that one thing that was I actually captured that moment on my phone or something like that. So So it's kind of like your unconscious, or how do you say, you're working on the music on the back, there.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot when you're sleeping also. It's kind of like, so also every morning I wake up, there's a melody first it's quite wonderful, but it drives me crazy also at the same time, because there's like no, I live here in a quiet nature, but there's like no silent moment. So
Yeah. No, I understand that completely. My son said the same thing. Like he's 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then it comes and his head just won't stop. And yeah, I love all that though. I find that fascinating.
It is the blessing. It's blessing and the curse for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, there's magic there somewhere, because to me music is, magical. It just makes you feel good, and that's what I've always loved about it. And the other thing that I've noticed, that I know I'm going to go back to the new bands here for a moment. A lot of them message me about suffering with imposter syndrome. So that's self-doubt that pops into your head. And I've always got from your band that, you guys have always been real honest and with your music and authentic. And I've always wondered, have you experienced this as well, imposter syndrome? And how do you know, is there a way of recognizing that a song is album worthy that you can advise to these kids to get them to be more confident? Because you do come across as confident in your music too.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much.
No.
So people fucking hate me.
I love it.
No. I'm
you need to be.
I just have to be. Music is, it's so important. It's something that just is in me, and I really don't want to betray it. I mean, that's why it's like the most holy thing, I think, in this whole world.
Yeah.
Music. So in that way, I really never felt that. I have to be honest. I never felt, because it's always felt so honest, and we, like you said, we've been putting so much honesty into the music. I mean, we don't put it; it just comes in there.
Yeah.
And then in the lyrics and in that way. So it's yeah. I can't say much about
self-belief. That these kids, I think they should just have it. They need to ignore the self-doubt and just start believing.
Yeah, and of course you have to kind of like, we all go through phases. I mean, we are all been in how do you say that word even? Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, yeah.
Imposter syndrome, and we all been posters when we grew up. We wanted to be a little bit of this, and we wanted to be a little bit of that, and now suddenly I'm a punk rocker, and oh no, I'm a goth, and everything, and then it's like next year you're something else. So and that it's natural. It belongs to us also, kind of like growing through phases, and it's quite nice. I think we pick up something from all those things and then carry them through the life, and then also then carry them to the music. Like I said, that I'm a Duran guy and more a Marillion and those things, but I'm old as fuck. So I'm an old prog guy. I played like a prog metal, prog rock through the whole 90s and everything, and so that's why lots of that stuff, kind of like maybe a little bit more original thing, has come into the Swallow the Sun also, because I didn't play this kind of music in the 90s for sure. Even I had a like doom. If you say doom, well, that was a doom because I'm such a huge My Dying Pride and Candlemass, and of course Black Sabbath fan. But I mean, I've been Candlemass fan since 80s, so that's how old I am. So I had like even early 90s. I had like doom metal songs. I wrote Bells of Doom was one song, and all these kind of things, and it was total Candlemass. So this goes way back. So, but you pick up those things with the Rush and Marillion and Candlemass and My Dying Pride and all those things, and then it's nice if you still keep them, that you don't kind of like, when you grow up, you just like, oh, I don't understand, how could I like that. So in a good way, I don't even remember any point of my life that I would be embarrassed, oh, how could I like that, because for me, good music is always good music, and it's, of course, it's up to everybody. Everybody has a different opinion of what is good music, but yeah.
And that actually touches on, that's brilliant, because it actually, you're touching on something else that's quite something quite passionate about, and that's elitists and gatekeeping in the metal genre in general, and just in music in general. There's people who, even on my social media at the moment, you know, jumping in and saying, what do you like in that band for? Or you shouldn't like that band. And like, I've never been the type to really give a shit, to be honest. I've always just, you know, liked what I want to like. And like, I remember when new metal started, and I was like, obviously I was like in Slayer and bands like that, but I liked Slipknot, Linkin Park, things like that when they came out. But then the elitists were, you know, roasting me for liking these new bands. And then they become, you know, legacy bands. And then the guys who did roast you then said that they liked them when they never did. They just, because these bands now become cool, they can now say that they liked them back in the day. So that whole gatekeeping thing, it's just stupid. And you should be able to just like whatever you want to like. And I love that you've said that, you know, you like Duran Duran and bands like that as well, because that shows kids that it's okay to have a vast, you know, taste.
Absolutely. And I think these days I have a lot of not respect, but what is it? I give lots of credits to the younger. Even metal is very small, you know, thing, and I think it's just gone. I don't know if that's gone down or where, but you know, they love like a lot of different kind of, and they're not that afraid that, you know, some like well, it's not that new, but then you got like a Sleep Talking, also putting like a funk and a jazz and this kind of a new, how do you say, this kind of new school metal in it, or whatever. So I love it that people are so much more acceptable from this, because, you know, I come from so old school that, you know, and especially doom metal and black metal people, you know, those fuckers are, you know, such elite and gatekeepers that even, like you said, that you like keyboards, you can have a keyboard in doom metal, you know. How stupid is that? I mean it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny in a way. It's like a, you know, kids fighting in sandbox that this is, you know, and also, you know, this touches a little bit of Shining, this new album, because we did the new album with Dan Lancaster, this huge producer who's done the Bring Me the Horizon and Muse and and then all this amazing guy from London, and we did the new album with him, and it's there's been a shitloads of people who that was like, oh, this is like the what is the word, kind of like, this is the biggest scam you could ever do in our precious style of music. I'm like, well, first of all, good music is always good music, and that depends from the person, of course. That's the first thing. But then also it's like this thing that if you don't evolve at all, I mean, kind of like nothing is more boring than stick to your old guns from year to year to year to year in that way, and not have any space for kind of like growing and these kind of things. So and it's very important also for the bands and for the, how do you say, longevity. And they go on to kind of at least kind of like, and there's no drastic change. It was more about just a name, this kind of a name, and who comes from the different world, and that's what we wanted. That was the most important thing with me with the Shining album, that I wanted to find somebody who comes in totally different world and fucking messes up everything. I actually wanted that to happen, and that was the best thing that I could ever you need some balls to do it, especially in this kind of music, which is so it has such a strict rules, which I couldn't give a shit anyways. We never have but especially in, you know, then it needs a ball size of an elephant to do it in a way. So
and it worked, you know, it did. The album's great.
And also it's kind of like through Shining, shitloads of people have found this kind of music style, and then they find older bands and the new bands who are doing the same thing, and all so it's everybody wins in that way, or everybody loses if you come to like this kind of music. Welcome to the depression. But thank you. Sorry, I'm blabbing, but you said earlier that you feel like you feel good about listening to music. I mean, it gives you hope
Yep.
and kind of like
Comfort.
yeah, and I love that. I guess it's because I'm not some 13-year-old black metal guy who just want to cut himself, because that's exactly what I want our music to make.
Mm.
I never want, even it's very, very dark, it's emotionally very, very hard and
Yeah.
heavy to get into.
Yeah.
But the main thing is I want that you leave with feeling better about, that something will feel better, and even hope. Well, we have a hope named album also 2007, but still that's the most important thing for me, that the music that it gives you some comfort and something like, not
Yeah.
that makes you want to kill yourself,
Yeah.
even if the music might be quite a lot of pointing and pushing on that direction, but it seems to do the opposite thing that you can see on the gigs also, how people they are crying and they are smiling, laughing at the same time, and I love that because that's how the music feels for me also quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that hope within the darkness, it's not like saying, the darkness is going to go away and everything's going to be okay, but we're with you. It's that feeling of knowing you're not alone, that the band gets you as well, which is nostalgic too for me with many other bands as well. So I just love that, you guys do that too.
Thank you.
And actually we're going to play another song now. This time it is November Dust.
I'm running.
And that one as well, it's an immediate hook. And I find that one really powerful. And we did talk there on Dan Lancaster and using him. And I love the risk you took with that. And I love that it worked out well as well, because that's a great lesson for new bands as well, to not be afraid to try outside of the box, really. And I think you're right. Music is ever evolving and bands should also evolve. And this is something that I have seen with new bands messaging me, saying that they feel a pressure nowadays to be perfect now, already evolved, established their lineup, established their look, established their sound. Whereas, you've just pointed out that that's not necessary. Even after 20 years, you're still like evolving, you're still looking to make changes as well. So that's absolutely top value for the bands as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important that you're brave enough to do what feels right, because otherwise then you start to be this imposter, impose in many ways. I mean, then you're lying to yourself. So if you don't believe in your music, what you do, especially if you do it for the merch and the gig fees and whatever, that we need to do this kind of music, or we're going to lose our audience, or we're going to lose our income, then fuck off. The legacy you leave with the music, that's the most important. If you don't believe it, if you don't trust on it, if you can't stand behind it, then what was the fucking point? Money comes and goes, but the legacy stays. So and that, even it might sound that I'm we say in Finland that you Jeesustelee here, which means like you have a Christ syndrome. I don't mean it like that, but it's yeah, because the music is so holy. So give it to yourself, and and it doesn't mean that I couldn't write like for another artist or some other things, kind of like music that I'm not like write songs for the others or whatever, that I wouldn't be 100% on the behind. It's kind of like an order song. That's fine, but not with this band. I could never ever do it. It's that's a portal to the heart.
Yeah. And the fans feel that too. It always comes across. Authenticity above everything else always comes across, and that's what brings the fans as well.
Yeah, I really hope so. And there's a shitloads of people who say that there's nothing authentic in Swallow the Sun and everything, and that's fine. I mean, again, many times I feel good for these people that they don't feel it, they don't kind of understand it. One day they will, and that's not the nicest day. But that's also is kind of Christ syndrome there to say that kind of thing. But that's that's a big part of it, that you kind of have to live quite a lot also. So it's not a young bucks music necessary. This kind of music. So kind of, I mean, it can be the music, but kind of really feel and understand what's behind there. So it's a unfortunate thing, and life is unfortunate, but there's lots of beautiful things too.
Yeah, very true. And my son, he's actually into the band now too. I introduced him to it, and he loves it.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
he's 20, so he loves it. So
Oh, what
we're
wonderful.
passing it down the generations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but look, I also want to ask about the artwork on the album. I'm curious about it. Now I love album artwork. I love, the thoughts and the art that goes behind it, the creativity behind them. And I can see it's a photograph, first of all. So thank you for not using AI. But yeah, I'm curious for two reasons. Is it a nod to older songs, because I can see a swan, I can see a moth, and possibly a butterfly? So is that a nod towards that, as well as the fact that these do represent awakening and new beginnings? So am I right? Or am I going too deep?
So you're absolutely right. There's a moth, and then the amazing thing that which I love about also art. I can say that I'm an artist, but the art is that when I saw the thing, I didn't plan the two swans passing each other.
Yeah.
And I loved it. That was the first thing when I saw it. It's two swans passing each other, and I'm like, and the swans they have a big meaning for this band from even we have a Sleepless Swans, one old song, and also through my other music, Hallatar, the swans are very important on the cover of that album, and there's many meanings for that. And then the moth and the swans. I have a cat here, so I'm not stroking myself. It has been a cat on my lap all the time.
Gorgeous wee cat. Oh, I love it.
Yes, it's a real photograph. It's a real hands, the real hands that play real. I mean, the music, and there's so many things there, and also the Moonflowers album, the last song, "This House Has No Home." If you watch the music video, there's diamonds that's been crushed and put on the flowers. The flowers were a big thing on a Moonflowers, and then so from that video and from that thing, the diamonds came into the cover. And also of course it's Shining, the album name, so it's a meaning with the diamonds also there. But yes, it's and I kind of like, we have those we never had a Photoshop covers in that way, that they're usually always painted or drawn and everything. Of course you might use Photoshop for doing the last layout of it, but now for some time the cover's been quite simple, and in a way that we don't have like a dragons and castles and everything there, and shitloads of things that small details that got quite clean covers, and I kind of like that. It's also, it's not planned, but in a way when you see the album covers from the metal bands, it looks almost like there's a big puke. It's very hard to find anything there, because everything looks quite the same in a way. They all have their skulls and the castles and everything, and the moons, and so in that way it kind of like sticks out from the white cover and just the hands, and or like the Moonflowers, just the red moon and the flowers. They're very simple. I don't know. Maybe the next album is a Rembrandt. Who knows?
Well, it works. I loved it. I did. I actually really loved it when I saw it, and it just gets your mind going, and that's what I love. I love something that just kind of makes my imagination, start to go, and that's what it does. So it's great. And look, we're going to play another song, and I think this one's actually my favorite. I think off the album, but I fight with myself over which one is my favorite. But we're going to go with Melancholy.
These days are here to stay. Melancholy, will you chase?
So yeah, I do think that one's my favorite, but there is another one which is coming later as well. So still can't decide. But look, I want to move on, because you are doing a tour of the UK and Ireland in December, and I'm really excited for that. Because we're going to the Belfast show. Really, really excited. Because I did miss the last one. I think it was Dublin you played, and we couldn't make it. So we're definitely going to the Belfast one. Pretty sure my son's coming too. And this is a curiosity question of mine for bands that have quite a large back catalogue. And it's, how do you choose a set list? Like, is there a formula behind it? Is it depending on the country or the city? Or is it rock, paper, scissors, toss a coin? Is there something behind how you choose a set list?
Well, of course, you always try to put quite a lot of new stuff because that's what you're playing out and promoting, if you can say like that. But the most important thing for me and for us always been kind of like trying to build up the set, because there's so much different kind of emotions in our music that it would be much easier if it would be just death metal from start to the end, and then of course death metal has emotions also and different kind of, but it's quite kind of like you know what you're gonna get then from the next song. So in that way it's quite important to kind of like, because I kind of feel and I see the music like a movies, and even the gig I kind of like see almost as a movie with the start and the middle part and the ending, and so that's how we try to build up the set. And then you have to just choose songs that will kind of work with the new songs also kind of together together through the from the start to the end.
Nice. So, yeah, well, we're definitely looking forward to it. We are excited. But I'm gonna test your memory a wee bit here. It's one of my favorite questions to ask a band members, musicians. And it's just really about your first time ever performing live in front of an audience. Now, you could have been 5, you could have been 12. It's just when I was a kid, I was forced onto the stage to do dancing and things like that, and I hated it, and it put me off ever wanting to be on stage. Whereas obviously that didn't happen to you. You've obviously done something and it's clicked and you've been, wow, this is what I want to do. So has that happened? Do you remember the first time when you felt like this is what I need to do?
Oh, I don't know. It's because I said that I'm quite old. So the time when I was in elementary school, then you were forced. I mean, I don't know these days if kids are being forced to sing in front of the fucking class, in front of all your friends who are, laughing. I'm sure these days you're not even allowed to do anything like this, or you go to the court.
Oh, no.
I have no idea. I have no idea about the school these days, but those were the first times that you have to perform, and it's a terrible thing in front of all the fucking classmates and all your friends and the girls and the boys and everybody's terrified because everybody has to sing there.
Yeah.
Sing, but you're forced to do that, and we had a super kind of like a old and angry music teacher. This old man, we were all fucking scared of him. So those are the first things that I remember, like that you have to perform, and I fucking hated it, and I never wanted to do it ever again for sure, because it killed every little thing that you might want to use it. It's kind of like,
for me it did, yeah.
So, yeah. But then again, what can you do? I found the guitar and started to do music, and so I don't know. I think from the first shows already, like in like a school parties or something. I remember those that we were playing some metal, kind of like a metal songs there, and then so I don't know. It felt very natural in that way that this is. Yeah, I never had like a huge stage fright, luckily, ever. Of course, you feel a little bit kind of like, but it's more about that you think that what can go wrong this time, what is going to break now. No, so it's more about that kind of a stage fright that what's going to break down now on this gig. Some amps or whatever or guitars. But yeah, well, I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's
It is, yeah, it is absolutely. And for me, it was never going to happen then. So no.
Don't give up. Yeah, what you?
Like I'm not a musician anyway. I'm not a natural musician whatsoever. I'm actually learning the guitar. It's that blue one there. That's
Mhm.
my I'm learning, but I'm still at the one finger Nirvana come as you are phase. It's really hard.
Yeah, but
But I'm trying.
you only need one finger. Dolly Parton plays
I've done it.
guitar only with one, or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm lying, but I remember because she has so long nails.
Oh
Like
yeah.
long nails. So I think she played at least in the beginning just like with one finger, because you can make one chord throughout the whole guitar, open tuning, and then she wrote Jolene and all these amazing things. So you can use one finger other things than picking your nose also, and make like a Jolene. So you never know.
Dolly is a genius. I love her. And I'm going to actually look into that now because I had to cut my nails all down, to try to learn better. But yeah, as well as that, I get, I've ADHD as well. So my brain just gets really mixed up, but also bored with trying to learn the rules, the chords,
Yeah.
whereas I want to learn the riff instead. But at least I'm starting, and I'm not young either. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? So what? You may as well just try. If you want to try, just do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But look, I also want to pick your brain on this one for new bands, and this is just based off your experience as well, in the industry, and it's the most important things to take on tour with you, and any lessons that you've learned while touring, that could help kids to not make the same mistakes.
I don't know. We are so poor band that I always take only hand luggage to the tour. But then again, I love so we can put more gear, and save money on the planes and everything. But I don't know. But then again, I love to have only hand luggage, so I can put it on my bunk and I have everything there. So I don't need to go down on the bus and open up my big luggage and whatever. But I don't know. It's of course, it's very important to have your headphones and kind of like, so you can kind of get, and especially noise cancelling, depending how much your band is going to drink, or if you want to drink. So I remember one time, I mean, this band used to be the most fucked up band in the whole world, at least the whole Finland and the whole world also maybe. Things have cleared up, luckily, for the last already 10-15 years, almost, something like that. But I remember one time, I don't know why I jump here, but I remember, well, that's why you need the noise cancelling headphones on the tour, because there was the fucking so loud, everybody's screaming. There were a couple of bands and everybody screaming and totally drunk and Lord knows what. They were so fucking loud that that you can't, even if you will go to your bunk and put all the pillows and the thing, it's too loud. And then our guitar player on that time, I was just watching it because I don't drink myself, so yeah, very, very, very easy environment in that, to be in that way. So I was looking at this table and everybody's fucking screaming, and I started to look at everybody, and I realized that nobody's even saying anything. They're just screaming. Who screams the loudest? It was, they went really on this Nedendal level, caveman level, where everybody was, there was no words. There was no words anymore. Everybody's just, they're just screaming. And then our guitar player at that time, he was the loudest, and he screamed that, "Shut up, everybody, shut up! I can't even hear myself drinking." I don't know why I told this story, but it was a funny story. It was so loud that he was angry because he couldn't hear himself drinking. So that's why you need noise cancelling headphones for sure. And okay, here comes the most important thing. If you go to the bus tour, if you go the first time on the bus tour, you're not allowed to shit in a toilet, which I don't understand, because you're fucking paying like 30,000 euros on a bus and you can't fucking shit on it. I mean, I think it's just the bus drivers. They're just lazy bastards, so they don't want to clean it. With that price, you should have a fucking golden toilet and do whatever you want in a toilet. But anyways, so you're not allowed to do that. So first thing what you do is you find a big plastic bag, which is called bag of shame, that you're gonna put into that if you really need to go, and then you just close it and throw it out on the next. And you find that bag and you put it somewhere that you hide it somewhere that you know where it is, because you're gonna need it pretty fucking fast one of these nights. And there's no time on that time of the night or whatever to go and look for it. So there's the most important lesson for the new bands if you go on your first tour and you go into the bus. So get the plastic bag and put it somewhere where you know. And even better if it's those big black plastic bags, those trash bags.
Yeah.
Bigger the better, because you can get it around there. Already open it like with open it up like in a shop. You don't even have a time for that when it needs. On those nocturnal hours. That's the most important lesson.
That's the best advice yet out of all interviews. Thank you for that. Very practical and realistic, kids. So do listen. All right, so we're going to play another song, and this was actually one that I was wrestling with as to what my other favorite, and it's "Innocence Was Long Forgotten." And so what I really liked when I heard that song was it gives me the feeling, like a nostalgic feeling of Swallow the Sun as well. It's just that familiar sound that is that comfort again that I mentioned before. I absolutely love that song. And what I'd love to ask you is for new fans now watching and listening. Again, the back catalogue is large as well. So I'm wondering, would you advise new fans to start with Shining, or should they go back to the beginning?
That's very, very hard. I think that most of the people will say that definitely not start with The Shining and go into the. Everybody always says that go into the first album like you started, and it's a very good advice also to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, it depends so much of a person what kind of a music you like, that because there's quite a lot of variation between the albums. Even you can hear it as Swallow the Sun for sure, because we have like from totally very well. Anyways, let's just say I'm not gonna go around this. If I would, it's quite hard album in a ways, but I would maybe say that start with When a Shadow is Forced into the Light, because that's maybe the most important album for myself, and a kind of like music and lyric wise. Also, it's very hard to say because it's hard to kick your it's to say, I don't know how many kids you have. If you have more than one, okay, then it's easy to say that you're my favorite one. But with the same thing with the albums and the songs, it's quite hard to say that which one. But for many reasons, When a Shadow is Forced into the Light, that might be, at least if I would want to first time hear the band, I would want to hear that album. So yeah, let's just say that.
Perfect. And actually, speaking of fans, I had one actually DMing me when she knew that I was going to be interviewing you. And she has asked if there would ever be a possibility, or if you've ever done this before, and that's to put together a book of the lyrics for her to be able to purchase at some point. Like, I actually think that's a good idea, because I love poetry as well. And I find a lot of lyrics to be very poetic, and yours are, and so it would be really cool to have just as a collection, but it's something to think about.
This is an amazing question, because just a couple of weeks ago, I've been talking with the one book publisher to this idea of that I will want to. I've been thinking about it for quite a long time. Not that long time, but for a couple of years, that the book with all the lyrics. and then there's a translation to Finnish next to it.
Mhm.
So because I kind of I would want to hear them in Finnish. That some who knows how to do it more. I don't think I could maybe do justice for the whole thing to translate Finnish, because I'm not a poet like that. It's much easier for me to write in English, which is
Mhm.
strange because I'm a Finnish person. But yeah, there is this. That's a good thing that you asked, because now I can tell these people that I've been even asked now about this thing. Because it is, and yeah, I will really want to have this thing that have all the lyrics and then the translations to Finnish, and then
Yeah.
also some artists who throws kind of like a sketches
Yeah.
about them. Not all the songs. There's quite many songs, but kind of like, so
Yeah.
they're also nice, that it will look nice and everything. This like a poetry book.
Yeah. I would love it too. Actually, I was not mad at it at all. I thought it was a great idea.
But our book, actually, we have a Swallow the Sun, the book of Swallow the Sun, which has been out now a couple of years already, but that's been only in Finnish.
Yeah.
But now it's gonna come out as an English book. I'm pretty sure now.
Nice.
There's a
That's something that's
I
awesome.
wish
Then.
you will find it and
Yeah.
at least steal it if you're not anything else.
Well, actually, I've spoken to quite a few Finnish bands now, and I'm always fascinated by someone who can speak another language, because I can't. Like, we learned Irish when we were younger, and it was really hard. But I'm fascinated by the differences in the languages too. So you mentioned there that you write in English rather than in Finnish for the lyrics, and I noticed, I can't remember who it was. It might have been a band called Advantages. It was Tim. And I was speaking to him about this, and I mentioned that you in Finnish don't typically use the word love as loosely as we do in English. So it's like we would say, I love ice cream, but you guys wouldn't use it in that term. So then he actually mentioned as well that he finds it easier to write songs in English because it's, emotions are looser and easier. Do you find that too?
Absolutely, and I can so how do you say, underline this thing, because like, it's very hard for me as a Finnish person to say I love you in Finnish. It's very, very hard. And well, we are cold northern men, and but you really don't throw that word around like loosely, like in English or in the USA and everything. Everybody's in love right away. So, and of course I use it as a love. You love something, there's a love, and then there is a love.
Yeah.
Of course, so you have to kind of like read between the lines there also, how you say. But yeah, it is true that it is much easier for me to kind of like write out the emotions in English than, and also Finnish is quite hard language in that way that I mean, I've written there's one chorus in one Swallow the Sun song that is in Finnish, and it's and I do love that chorus. But then again, I wrote it for when my father died. I wrote it as like an epitaph, or how is it epitaph? No, obituary. Anyway, something that I read for his death, kind of like. So in that way, it really, well, it went right away, so in the deep end, that it came out very meaningful and quite beautiful also. So who knows, maybe one day I will. But then again, when I was in school, I think my grade in Finnish language was like -4 out of 10. so yeah, and also I think a little bit of an AD. Well, actually, I don't know if it's ADHD these days. Those days when I was a kid, it was called MBD or something like, which is something almost like minimal brain damage or something like that. So I was already labeled that because I couldn't, concentrate on anything. I concentrate on absolutely anything else than the school and learning. So in that way, I don't know. that's why the Finnish. Of course, I can speak Finnish, but then again, I don't know how the more of this kind of finding the right words through Finnish, if it will be that successful. I have an idea that might not be that good in the long run. Whoever knows? I never done it except that one chorus.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we actually did try to learn a bit of Finnish because we're going to Helsinki next year for holiday, and
when are you coming?
I think we're thinking around Tuska time.
Okay,
we might be going to Tuska, and then we want to see the city, and then my son, he wants to see a city called Porvoo, I think it's called.
Okay.
Because we're country folk ourselves, us Irish, we're, greenery, things like that. We're not big into cities, but, go and visit a city, of course. But he wants to see the picturesque ones as well. So yeah, we're excited, but we're thinking of going for Tuska. And whether I'm going to maybe work at it or not, I'm not sure yet, or would just want to be a civilian and have fun, But yeah, we're excited to go, and we've tried to learn a bit of Finnish. My son, he's way better at it. Like I am so thick as champ when it comes to language. It's terrible. I'm lucky I can speak English, honestly.
Well, that's all you need. Don't learn Finnish. It's
so hard.
It's very hard. That's what I heard, that it's one of the hardest languages to learn in the whole world. It's such a, I don't know, but I know how to speak it, so that tells a lot about it.
Well, you're lucky that you can speak it. But no, we did try, but we give up. But like, I'm just glad you guys can all speak English. That's great. Makes it easy for us when we come over next year. But we're excited. We're definitely excited to get over. But yeah, we're going to play another song. And this time I'm going with What Have I Become?
A new day was here, about to begin, and it feels like...
So I want to ask just a wee bit about recording. I know nowadays it's so different to what it was back in the day. And I speak to a lot of bands who say, there's so many tools nowadays. You can record at home and send stuff to the other band members. It's not like, back in the day when you all had to be together. Is there anything nowadays that you wish you'd had back in the day when you first started out from a recording perspective?
Okay, well, yeah, I started the first two Swallows and albums I had an old cassette 4-track, like a recorder, and then this is, nobody believes me, but this is true. It has like a mic, like a built-in mic on it, and then because you need to have a kind of like a click to do kind of like to have a click track. So how I did the songs is that I took my kitchen like a wall clock, and I recorded I put the clock on the top of this mic on this 4-track machine, and then I recorded one of the tracks, just going, and then there's a tape speed thing.
Yeah.
On these machines, so then I found like the right kind of like a, and then I did the songs through that. That's pretty fucking old school. But I did even the first 2 albums. I did that, and with the acoustic guitar, I just played because I didn't have any distortion pedals at home. So I just did all the songs with acoustic, straight through this mic and with my kitchen wall clock click. So, but then of course then all this home this studio things. So like I've been doing with the Logic, I've been doing for a long time. The songs and I do them kind of ready, and I just give them to the boys. And let's do an album now. And so, but it's true that a lot, like we haven't had like a keyboard player. We had a keyboard player for a long time, but now we haven't had it. So I've been doing all the keys, and now I do them with myself through using this Logic program, and they go straight to the album, basically. So you can do a lot at home for sure, and I think most of the bands are recording home all the guitars and everything, because you really there's not much money in this business, and go to the studio, and so you can save a lot of money in this. But the problem there is that you start to, you're never happy, kind of, I can do it better, and then you lose the actual feeling. So that's why we always record the guitars in a studio still. But I know that lots of people kind of like record the guitars and all the bass at home, because they can do it in a piece, which is wonderful for sure. But there's a danger on it, because then it's like a lot of bands sound so clinical and clean these days that it's basically okay. It could be a machine. It could be a machine playing here, and that comes a lot of this thing that you can work at home piece, and you can kind of like everybody is doing the Instagrams and the photographs, and you take 100 pictures and you try to write the right angle and a filter, and it's like a little bit of the same kind of thing that goes now with album recordings also, because you can use the endless time, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But there's so much good and bad things about these things. But it definitely helps a lot, especially doing the demos. I don't have to use my old cassette thing and the clock from the wall, so it makes things easier. And there's shitloads of people who say those 2 first albums are the best ones, and then it went to shit. So it might be good also that you do it with a 4-track machine and acoustic guitar, which I really love. That is a kind of a way to do it. Because if it works with the acoustic guitar only, most probably it's gonna work the band version. Because it's so easy to put 100,000 tracks on the top of each other, and then you lose the song. It's so easy to do it. And like a painter, many painters, they just go on painting and painting. Even you had the best version already like a year ago, but you always add something, and you think it's getting better, but it's actually not. So there's a danger also.
Yeah, that's the creative curse. Nothing's ever finished.
Yeah, and when we were asking, well, I can't give lessons to anybody about anything in this life, or the musicians or the young musicians, but it's true that kind of like it's never gonna be perfect. No matter what you do, it's never gonna be perfect. You get the mixes, it's never gonna be like how you want it. Absolutely, and it's never gonna be perfect. So don't chase the perfection, because you're never gonna get it, and that's the beauty also of the music. It would be much nicer to have a little bit less perfection in the music these days, because that's it. I think it gives you a character also, kind of like
absolutely
in many ways.
Absolutely agree. Couldn't agree more. The whole strive for perfection, it's just this real modern way of being, and it's not authentic either. It's not, I don't think that's real, it has to be real. And look, we're going to actually be playing out with the song Shining. But before we do, I would love to ask you what you hope your fans take from the band now, and also in 10, 20, 50 years from now. How do you hope that the music still makes them feel for now and new fans?
I just, like I said in the beginning, I just hope that they can feel the honesty of the music, because that's the most important thing for me. Is it's like maybe another one of these my guru advices for the younger musicians or the people also, which is very important for me, and is a lesson that I learned from my late partner in life, from Alia Stanbridge, who also said that I have to stand behind the music 100%. If I don't, and somebody says anything bad about it, I'm gonna feel it, because I know that I wasn't honest also. So anything that I put out, I have to stand behind it 110%. Know it came from the heart, because then nothing is gonna touch you.
That's beautiful.
Not the bad reviews, not the good reviews, which is always, of course, nice that somebody resonates with the thing that you do. But I think that is so important thing that you can stand, and there's the honesty. So the honesty is maybe the most important thing that I want to that people will feel.
Yeah.
Again, it depends on the people who feel like there's no honesty in this shit. You know, I rather listen to the Venom, and there's the honesty, you know, or Burzum, you know, there's the true honesty, on which is true also, through the. But yeah, that's kind of like that's the thing that I wish that people will feel
Yeah.
from the music.
That's absolutely well said. And look, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been awesome. The amount of value that you've provided to is incredible. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for asking, and I'm very happy to do it.
Oh, it's been an absolute honor. And here it is, guys, Shining.
I'll understand